All right, welcome in. It is time for one of our favorite segments, certainly on a Tuesday, and that is our Caminos segment. Recently, there has been a lot of attention to and discussion about the farm workers movement. Just as the farm workers movement was fighting for the betterment of working conditions for farm workers, there was a Chicano movement in Colorado. Joining me now to talk more about the movement is Dr. Nikki Gonzalez, a professor at Regis University. Thank you so much for being here. It's such an important topic that, we're discussing now, as we should be.
Sure.
Talk to us a little bit about the Chicano movement specifically in Colorado and how it shaped the fabric of our state.
Sure. So first of all, thank you for having me. And the Chicano movement in Colorado was part of a national movement, the National Chicano Movement. And a lot of people don't realize that Colorado was really a center of Chicano activism. And when we say Chicano movement, we mainly mean the activism that occurred in the 60s and 70s for a number of reasons. So it's an umbrella term for movements to better farm workers' lives, movements to address educational and employment disparities, movements, and as the Vietnam War progressed, to address the disparities in the draft and the structural racism in the draft and housing. So it's a plethora of issues that the Chicano movement was addressing.
And so empowering, affecting so many lives. Why do you feel like it was necessary and it came to pass at the exact time that it did?
Sure. So, I mean, it's important to note that sometimes those boundaries that we put on movements, like it started here and ended here, are artificial. So it was just sort of this burst of activism that came together because of a confluence of events, which is one, the Black Civil Rights Movement, which was a tremendous influence, conditions in Colorado, and like I said, like the Vietnam War, the National War on Poverty under President Lyndon Johnson, which actually, tried to address some of those racial and class disparities that were existing at the time. So it came about because of a long history of structural racism that affected many groups, including Chicanos or Mexican Americans.
Can you point to some of the most positive, impactful resolutions and change that came from off of the back of the hard people work that they did?
Sure. So I think, first of all, I wouldn't be sitting in this chair if it wasn't for Chicano activism and sort of the busting up of barriers that made it impossible for generations of Mexican Americans, Chicanos, to go to college and to have opportunities like I've enjoyed. So I'm under no illusion that I benefited from the movement. So we have Chicano studies, we have Mexican American studies in colleges that tell the history of people. We have kind of a bursting open of the historical profession, which has allowed a much richer, more inclusive version of American history to be told. So that's part of the Chicano movement. Better wages, better rights. The opening up of opportunities in politics. We have, take for instance, the city council in Denver has 6 Chicanas, 6 Latinas on it. And so just more opportunity has been available because of those movements.
Do you feel like it could go even further? What does the future look like for Chicanos in Colorado?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, there's always room for improvement. We still see, through gentrification, through continued disparities in education and immigration. Right? So more recent Latinos coming into the country are experiencing racism. I mean, racism still exists. So there's still opportunities and the need for activism.
Okay. Dr. Gonzalez, thank you for taking some time out of your day and talking to our viewers. We
Absolutely.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank
you so much.